like annoying religious way, but like how dare
Fuck that
you
guy.
how dare you claim to represent Jesus? How dare you?
Or any kind of God
Any
figure.
God, but specifically because Jesus is my God, and like
Yeah.
that's weird, but like are you joking? Like, I know the guy pretty well, actually. He saved me. He saved me. He has pulled me out of the darkest parts of my life single-handedly. It sounds crazy. I know it does. I don't care. That's what happened. How dare you use his name like that?
So-
Like, how dare you preach all of this shit that you preach and then do shit like that? How dare you? Like, this is why people hate
Christians.
religion and Christians
Yeah.
specifically. This is why, and it makes perfect sense. If I didn't know any better, I hated him too. I hated them. I still kind of do. They're kind of shitty people sometimes because they hide behind the gaze of like, oh, I'm saved. And it's like, that's great, but you don't get to be a shitty person anymore now. Like, you can if you want, but do you really want to be? Like,
So that was going to be one of the last things I brought up about, specifically the rehab. Coming out of that with such a religious foundation, what aspect or aspects of that ended up leading you into Christianity? What do you think it was that made
Bible.
that make sense to you?
The Bible made sense to me at first because I mean, it was so boring. Anyone out there who doesn't want to read the Bible because it's boring, I understand. But the New Living Translation, amazing, incredible, and you don't have to read the whole fucking Bible. Just start in like the New Testament. Start in like John or Mark or one of the Gospels. Just do it, just for fun. Just fuck around. See if you agree with it. See if you can find anything in there that isn't true. I just challenge you to do that. Like, not the Old Testament, right? I'm not fucking sure about that. But, like, the New Testament, there's some stuff that it's just kind of like, damn, like, first of all, how cool would it have been to walk with this guy? Like, what a badass. Like, still forever thinking of the time that he cursed at a fig tree because he was mad that it didn't have fruit and then killed it. It's my favorite. But, like, he hung out with prostitutes. He hung out with drug addicts. He hung out with lepers. He fucking hated the government. He paid taxes. And he was a good man, and he died wrongly. And, like, whether you believe that he was the son of God or whatever the fuck it is, he was a real person, and they've proven that.
Right.
Which is kind of strange.
Well, even people like the Scientologists or certainly the Mormons, but the Scientologists, agnostic people, even like Buddhists or Muslims, they acknowledge Jesus, Yeshua, as a person, but the best credit they'll give them is that he was a good guy.
Or a prophet,
or
in
he
some
was
cases.
a really well-learned individual,
Yeah.
or some would say
or a
prophet.
teacher. He was, he was all these things, which, like, I get it. And, it's all a debate. I can't even really get into it because I couldn't tell you why. I can't even really, I can defend it
To
well
a point.
enough.
No, I get you, yeah.
But at a certain point, it's like, I don't have all the answers for you, and you're never going to have all the answers. And that is the point. That's the whole point.
Exactly
I'm
what I was
sorry.
saying. That's the point.
I'm sorry. I know that sucks. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around it a lot, but, like, it's real. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so I read the Bible, and then we would have, like, people from Calvary Rio Rancho, which was my home church when I was a little girl, would come once a month on Sundays, and they did this thing called Sunday Night Explosion, where you basically just got to sit in a room full of pastors and people who were, like, really learned in the Word, and you could ask them anything you wanted, and they answered you truthfully. And, like, it was fucking dope. It was dope. Like, it was the coolest shit ever, because you could be like, why the fuck does this happen? If God is so real and so this or that, why does this happen? And then they could answer it for you and back it up with scripture and all of this, like, archaeology knowledge and shit. Like, it was cool as fuck. It was like going to class. I loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And, like, they were all so nice, and they remembered our names and what we were doing and how long we'd been there. And, like, it was just cool.
So is there anything from that experience, like those Sunday nights, that stick out to you that you remember?
Yeah, there were quite a few. We went over a lot of scripture, and a lot of them were my favorites. But, like, some of the things that we learned were just like, like the story of the prodigal son is, like, one of my favorite pieces of scripture. The one in Luke specifically is incredible, and we went over that in depth. It's always been my favorite story in the Bible, even before I, like, really read the Bible. I knew about the story of the prodigal son or whatever, and we went through it inch by inch, and, like, picked apart every single thing in there, because there's so much culture in the Bible that we don't have now. Like, we are not old Jewish men on a farm, unfortunately. And there aren't really a lot of them left anymore. So, like, this man picking up his robes to go hug his son who has been laying in pig shit and eating pig slop for weeks after. So, okay, I'm just going to take you through it. Sorry, real quick, real fast. Okay, fast. So the prodigal son The story starts, he goes up to his father, he's like, I want my inheritance, I'm leaving. And in Jewish culture, and the inheritance was not given to you until your father died. So he was telling his father, you're fucking dead to me, give me my money, I'm leaving. And the dad's like, okay, here you go. And he leaves. And, he gallivants, does a bunch of bad shit, gets into prostitutes and stuff. And in the Jewish culture, you can't eat pork. Pigs are considered very unclean animals. And he finds himself, very much like a drug addict, in the muck, in the mire, with pigs. He's sleeping with pigs and wishing to eat what the pigs eat because it looks better than what he's eating. And he's like, I gotta go back home. Like, this, I didn't do it right. Like, I fucked up. I gotta go back to my dad. So he goes back, and it says that his dad sees him from a long way off, which means that his father has been looking for him to return every day since he left. And he picks up his robes, and runs, which that was not, no, absolutely not. Jewish man did not run. And he did not pick up his robes for anybody. This man didn't give a shit. He picked up his robes. He ran to his son, threw his arms around his neck. He kissed his face. He's covered in pigs. He's been sleeping with the pigs. He's unclean. And the father does not care. He's like, I love you. I'll take you back whenever, whatever. He's like, go kill the fatted calf. We're going to have a feast. The older brother is like, man, fuck you. You never gave me a fatted calf at the feast, and I've been here this whole time. I've been helping you this whole time. I've been here tending your fucking flowers, just working for my inheritance, and you never given me a party. And the dad's like, you never asked me for a party. Like, you think I wouldn't give this to you? Like, why don't you just go in there and be happy for your brother? And then the story ends before we find out whether that brother goes in to celebrate with the family or not. So it's like, up to you. Like, the prodigal, a lot of people identify with the prodigal son. And then obviously the father is father of God, God the Father. But a lot of people actually are the other son. Right. Who's like, well, why are you giving this person salvation, you asshole? I did all this stuff. I opened all these churches, and I raised all this money, and I did all these things, and look at all these things I did, and look how much I talked to people. And he's like, okay, but you never left. You've always been here. Like, it's just cool. I remember that distinctly because we went through every little, we picked it apart, every word, every translation. It was really cool. And these people are so non-judgmental. They care a lot. They were lovely people. They were very, very nice. And I always baked food for when they came over, and they'd always take home a bunch of banana bread and stuff. It was just it was a good time, once a month. It was our favorite time. Everyone at the center loved it. And then the people at Calvary love it too. And they have to prepare sermons for us. It was cool.
Do you feel like, not feel like, but did you have that prodigal son moment with your dad?
I did.
Whenever you got out of the center?
Oh my God. I still feel so bad because I'm really close with my dad. I mean, Yeah. My dad's a cool guy, and
one of my favorite. Sorry to sidebar.
That's
one
fine,
of my favorite memories is over the course of our friendship.
Yeah.
I met your dad for the first time. Came over to the house.
Yep.
One of the first thing this guy does, long hair, chilling, right? He takes us both up to the upstairs part of his house. He had a huge record collection.
Yeah, and a big-ass record player.
Pulls out Led Zeppelin 3, puts it on the record player, kicks it on, closes the thing, sits back in his chair, and as that's just playing, he just goes...
He's just nodding his head, dude.
Like a fucking stone salamander, dude. He's just chilling.
He's the coolest dude.
I was like, yeah, that's the guy. And then
he's the coolest guy.
He doesn't have the cigar shop anymore, does he?
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I miss that place.
I remember the cigar shop was super dope. I was like, I'm not 18 yet. When I turn 18,
so
cigars.
Cool. So cool. Yeah, now he works at a car dealership. He sells BMWs.
Right. Yeah.
He's a cool fucking guy. So I remember just sitting in the car next to him and him just weeping openly, just racked with sobs, weeping because I was essentially dead if I was not going to this program. That was it. That was the point we were at. Is if I continued to use, I was going to die. There was no coming back from it. There's no safe way to do anything. I'm gonna die. If I ever use again to this day, I will die. I'm not coming back. And him hearing the executive state director telling me I couldn't come in, he just broke down, and I was like, yeah. Fuck, oh god damn, fuck. And then the whole time he was there, he visited me every weekend, he was just he was on it, he was really on it, and we're just really close. And I think the moment I remember having, because he would come and I'd bitch to him about everything going on, and I remember he came for my graduation, and he spoke you get at 4 months you graduate to one phase of the program, and then at 8 months you graduate to the last phase of the program, and then at 12 months you complete. So he came to all my graduations and he spoke at most of them. But for my actual graduation, they asked him to come up and speak, and he couldn't get up because he was crying so hard. And I was just like, damn, like, I love my dad, you know? Like, it was like a really, like, nice moment. And then I started crying, and then he just got up and came up on the stage and hugged me, and everybody in the room was crying. And it was just like, it was very much like that moment of, like, me coming back. It wasn't even when I came back here literally and was like, I need to get clean. I can't live in Phoenix anymore. It was like after I graduated that It was really cool. It was a cool moment, and we still talk all the time. We're really close, but